The massive alien ship floated in the darkness beyond Mars, hidden among the rocks and ice of the asteroid belt. For 3 long years, the Zephyrian Empire had watched the small blue planet called Earth. Commander Vextar stood on the bridge of his vessel, his cold reptilian eyes studying the data streams that flowed across the glowing screens. Earth looked so weak, so helpless. The humans had primitive rockets that barely reached their own moon. They fought each other with simple weapons. They had no shields protecting their world, no great battle stations orbiting their planet, nothing that could stop a real military force. Perfect, Vextar hissed to his second-in-command. They will fall in days. The commander had seen many worlds conquered by the Empire. Usually, the sight of their great war fleet was enough to make entire civilizations surrender without a fight. Earth would be no different. The humans would see their ships blotting out the stars and beg for mercy. But far below on Earth's surface, things were not as simple as they seemed. Dr. Lisa Monroe pushed her glasses up her nose as she stared at the equations covering every wall of her secret laboratory. The underground facility stretched deep beneath the Nevada desert, hidden from all satellite view. Above ground, it looked like an old mining site. Below, it housed some of the most advanced research on the planet. Lisa had been working on quantum physics for 15 years. The government had given her unlimited funding and told her to push the boundaries of what was possible. They never told her why, but she suspected it had something to do with the strange signals their deep space monitors had been picking up. "Lisa, you need to see this." Dr. Ryan Carter burst through the heavy metal door, his face white with worry. Ryan worked with the monitoring equipment that watched the space around Earth. For the past month, he had been tracking something that made no sense. "What is it now?" Lisa asked, not looking up from her work. "The signatures are getting stronger. Whatever is out there, it's moving closer." Ryan pulled up a holographic display that showed the solar system. Red dots blinked near the asteroid belt. "These readings don't match anything natural. The electromagnetic patterns are too organized, too precise." Lisa finally looked up. The red dots on the display were moving in formation. No asteroid or comet moved like that. "How long have you been tracking this?" 3 months. But in the last week, the signals have increased by 300%. Something big is happening out there. 2,000 miles away, General Paul Harris sat in a windowless room deep under the Pentagon. The old soldier had gray hair and scars from wars that never made the news. He had spent his entire career preparing for threats that most people couldn't imagine. Today, those preparations were about to be tested. "Sir, we have confirmation." Captain Maria Santos placed a tablet in front of the general. The screen showed data from monitoring stations around the world. 17 facilities have detected the same anomalies. Whatever is out there, it's not from Earth. General Harris had been waiting for this moment for 20 years. Since the day a crashed object in the Arctic had revealed that humanity was not alone in the universe. Since the day the president had authorized the most secret project in human history. "Activate all deep space assets," Harris said quietly. "Send the signal to every hidden facility. Tell them it's time." "Sir, should we inform the public?" "Not yet. Let them think we're as helpless as we appear. Our enemies are counting on that." Back in space, Commander Vextar received a message from the Empire's homeworld. The invasion fleet was ready. 200 warships, each capable of destroying a city, were moving toward Earth's solar system. The humans would have no chance. "Begin final approach," Vextar ordered. "Prepare the surrender demand. These humans will submit or be destroyed." But as the alien fleet moved closer to Earth, other eyes were watching. Captain Jake Morrison floated in the pilot seat of his stealth ship, the Liberty's Shadow. His vessel looked like a piece of space junk from the outside. Inside, it carried weapons that could destroy a city. Jake had been patrolling the outer solar system for 5 years. His ship was one of 12 identical vessels, all disguised as asteroids or broken satellites. The aliens had been so focused on watching Earth that they never noticed the human ships watching them. "Control, this is Liberty's Shadow," Jake whispered into his radio. "I count 200 enemy vessels. They're moving fast toward the inner system. Copy that, Shadow. All units prepare for combat. Today we find out if 20 years of preparation was worth it. On Earth, President Helen Grant stood in the White House Situation Room. The walls were covered with screens showing the approaching alien fleet. Her advisors looked terrified, but the president remained calm. She had known this day would come. Ma'am, the aliens will reach Earth in 72 hours, Defense Secretary William Barnes reported. Our conventional forces won't be able to stop them. Who said anything about conventional forces? President Grant smiled coldly. Gentlemen, it's time to show these aliens what humanity is really capable of. Deep under the Australian desert, what looked like a simple solar farm began to change. The fake solar panels slid away, revealing massive magnetic rails that stretched for miles underground. Similar transformations were happening around the world. In Siberia, camouflaged doors opened to reveal rows of spacecraft. In the Pacific, artificial islands began rising from the ocean depths. Dr. Monroe felt her laboratory shake as hidden machinery came to life around her. For years, she had wondered why the government needed her quantum research. Now she understood. Humanity had been preparing for this war long before the aliens had started watching. The Zephyrians detected the first human energy signatures as they crossed the orbit of Jupiter. Admiral Kethra, commander of the invasion fleet, studied the readings with growing confusion. These weren't the primitive signals they had been expecting. The energy levels were far too high. The technology was far too advanced. Run a full sensor sweep, he ordered. Something is wrong here. The sweep revealed the truth that would change everything. Hidden throughout the solar system were weapons and ships that used technology the Zephyrians barely understood. Humanity had not been sitting helplessly while the Empire watched. They had been building an arsenal that would shock the galaxy. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They had believed Earth was defenseless. They were about to learn just how wrong they had been. The space around Jupiter erupted with light as 200 alien warships dropped out of hyperspace. Each vessel was the size of a city, bristling with weapons that could turn planets into dust. Admiral Kethra stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's Edge, watching Earth appear on his screens as a tiny blue dot in the distance. Begin the surrender broadcast, he commanded. Tell the humans they have one day to submit or face complete destruction. The alien fleet moved toward Earth like a wall of death. Their ships blocked out the stars, casting shadows across the outer planets. Every human monitoring station detected their approach. The sheer size of the invasion force should have sent Earth into panic. But something strange was happening. President Helen Grant stood in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by her top military leaders. The main screen showed the massive alien armada approaching at incredible speed. Defense Secretary William Barnes looked pale as he read the tactical reports. Ma'am, their firepower exceeds our entire nuclear arsenal by a factor of 50. We can't fight this conventionally. President Grant turned to NASA Director Dr. Amanda Taylor. Doctor, are our deep space assets in position? All 12 stealth ships are ready, ma'am. Captain Morrison reports his squadron has been tracking the alien fleet since they entered our system. Good. Send the activation codes to all hidden facilities. It's time to drop the mask. Around the world, humanity's greatest deception began to unravel. For 30 years, Earth had been building weapons in secret. Not the primitive missiles and jets that the aliens had observed, but technology that pushed the very limits of physics. In the Australian outback, what had appeared to be a solar energy farm for the past decade suddenly transformed. The fake solar panels slid into underground chambers, revealing something that made the alien weapons look like toys. A magnetic railgun stretched for 20 miles underground, capable of firing projectiles at near light speed. Similar reveals were happening across the globe. In Siberia, hidden blast doors opened in the frozen ground, showing rows of sleek spacecraft that had been built in complete secrecy. The Pacific Ocean bubbled as artificial islands rose from the depths, each one topped with weapons that used gravity itself as ammunition. Captain Jake Morrison floated in his stealth ship, watching the alien fleet through sensors that the invaders couldn't detect. His vessel, the Liberty's Shadow, had been disguised as space debris for 5 years. Now it was time to show what it could really do. All shadow units, this is Morrison. Target the lead destroyers. Hit them hard and fast. Show these aliens what humans can do when we stop hiding. The battle began without warning. 12 ships that had been invisible suddenly erupted with devastating firepower. Quantum torpedoes, weapons that existed only in theory to most civilizations, tore through 3 Zephyrian destroyers before the aliens could even react. The explosions lit up space like new stars. Admiral Kethra watched his ships die with growing horror. These weren't the primitive weapons his scouts had reported. The humans were using technology that his own empire only dreamed about. Controlled antimatter explosions, weapons that folded space itself, energy beams that seemed to ignore his ship's shields completely. "How is this possible?" he roared at his science officer. "Our intelligence said they were using chemical rockets and metal projectiles. Sir, these readings are impossible. They're generating energy levels that should require a star to power. Their weapons are operating on principles we don't understand." On Earth, Colonel Sandra Bell sat in her command center deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain. Banks of quantum computers calculated firing solutions for weapons that most humans didn't even know existed. The mountain facility looked like a simple military base from the outside. Inside, it controlled humanity's orbital defense grid. "Target the alien command ships," she ordered. "Fire the orbital cannons." High above Earth, hidden satellites that had pretended to be communications equipment for years suddenly revealed their true nature. Massive magnetic accelerators launched tungsten rods the size of telephone poles at incredible speeds. Each projectile hit with the force of a nuclear weapon, but without the radiation. The Zephyrian fleet found itself under attack from directions they hadn't expected. Human weapons struck from the asteroid belt, from hidden bases on moons, from ships that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Every shot was precise, deadly, and used technology that should not have existed on such a primitive world. Dr. Lisa Monroe's quantum communication system allowed instant coordination between Earth's scattered forces. Her breakthrough in quantum entanglement meant human commanders could talk to each other faster than light itself. While the aliens struggled with communication delays across their massive fleet, human forces moved with perfect timing. Lieutenant Commander Susan Price piloted her fighter through the chaos of battle, her craft dancing between alien weapons with impossible grace. Her ship's artificial intelligence predicted enemy movements before they happened, guiding her through patterns of death that would have destroyed any normal pilot. The aliens had better numbers, but humans had better technology. Ships that could phase through solid matter, weapons that created tiny black holes, shields that turned enemy fire into harmless light. Every piece of technology that Earth had developed in secret was now being revealed in the most violent way possible. Admiral Kethra watched his invasion force take massive casualties from an enemy that wasn't supposed to exist. In 6 hours of fighting, he had lost 60 ships to weapons he couldn't understand. The humans weren't just defending themselves, they were winning. "All ships retreat to Jupiter," he commanded. "Send an emergency message to the homeworld. Tell them everything we knew about Earth was wrong. Tell them we need reinforcements immediately." As the alien fleet fled, President Grant addressed the OE world. But her speech wasn't just for humans. Using captured alien communication equipment, she broadcast to the entire galaxy. "This is Earth. We are not the helpless primitives you believed us to be. We desire peace, but we will defend ourselves with everything we have built. To any who would threaten us, know this. We have been preparing for you longer than you have. Been watching us." The message reached alien worlds across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire, one of the most feared military powers in known space, had been crushed by a species most civilizations had never heard of. The galaxy would never look at the small blue planet the same way again. The alien fleet regrouped near Jupiter, hiding behind the giant planet's radiation field. Admiral Kethra paced his bridge like a caged animal, studying the reports from his damaged ships. In one day of fighting, the humans had destroyed 60 of his vessels and crippled dozens more. His invasion force was now down to barely 100 operational warships. "Sir, we're receiving reinforcement requests from the outer colonies," his communications officer reported. The Empire is sending additional fleets, but they won't arrive for another month. Kethra slammed his clawed fist against the command console. A month was too long. The humans would use that time to prepare even deadlier surprises. He had to strike now, before they could bring more of their impossible weapons online. Prepare for a direct assault on their homeworld, he ordered. We attack at maximum speed, no more caution, no more delays. But humanity was not sitting idle. General Paul Harris stood in the Pentagon's deepest command center, watching real-time feeds from spy satellites that were tracking every alien ship. The old soldier's weathered face showed no emotion as he studied the tactical display. They're massing for another attack, Captain Maria Santos reported. Our intelligence suggests they'll hit Earth directly this time. Good, Harris replied. Let them come to us. Captain Rodriguez, is your battle group ready? Captain Danny Rodriguez commanded humanity's first true space navy from the bridge of his flagship, the New Horizon. His ship had been built in orbital shipyards hidden behind the moon, along with 39 other vessels that represented the peak of human military technology. The fleet's existence had been Earth's most closely guarded secret. All ships report ready for combat, sir, Rodriguez answered over the secure channel. We've been waiting 5 years for this moment. The human fleet moved out from behind the moon, their ships invisible to alien sensors thanks to quantum stealth technology. Each vessel was equipped with weapons that had been developed from theories that most alien civilizations considered impossible to build. Dr. Ryan Carter sat in his monitoring station, intercepting alien communications and slowly breaking their encryption codes. For weeks he had been studying Zephyrian language patterns and military protocols. His breakthrough came when he realized their command structure was completely rigid. Lisa, I've figured out how they operate, he called to Dr. Monroe, who was working at a nearby console. Their entire fleet follows orders from a single command ship. If we can take out their admiral, the rest will fall apart. Can you identify which ship he's on? Lisa asked, looking up from her quantum calculations. Already done. The Dominion's Edge, their largest dreadnought. It's broadcasting command signals to every other vessel in their fleet. Lisa smiled coldly. Then we know exactly where to hit them. The alien fleet left Jupiter's orbit in a massive formation, racing toward Earth at incredible speed. Admiral Kethra was confident that a direct assault would overwhelm the human defenses. He had learned to respect their technology, but numbers still mattered in warfare. That confidence lasted exactly 12 minutes. The human fleet materialized out of empty space, their quantum stealth fields dropping to reveal 38 warships in perfect attack formation. The aliens found themselves facing weapons they couldn't understand or defend against. Captain Rodriguez's flagship fired first. The New Horizon's main gun created a controlled gravity well that crushed an alien cruiser like an empty can. The weapon used no energy beams or projectiles. It simply made gravity stronger in a small area of space, and physics did the rest. All ships focus fire on their command vessel, Rodriguez ordered. Take down their admiral and this fight is over. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships phased in and out of normal space, appearing behind alien vessels to deliver devastating attacks before vanishing again. Their weapons ignored energy shields and armor plating, striking directly at the molecular structure of enemy hulls. Lieutenant Commander Susan Price led her fighter squadron through the chaos, her advanced craft moving with impossible speed and precision. Her ship's artificial intelligence predicted enemy fire patterns, allowing her to dance between laser beams that should have vaporized her. Control, this is Lightning Squadron, she reported. We're making our attack run on the command ship now. The Dominion's Edge was the largest warship in the Zephyrian fleet, bristling with enough firepower to level a continent. But it had never faced weapons like the ones humanity brought to bear. Susan's fighters struck the massive vessel with quantum, phased torpedoes that passed through its shields as if they didn't exist. Admiral Kethra watched his bridge explode around him, as human weapons tore his flagship apart from the inside. The attacks were coming from directions that should have been impossible. His shields were useless, his armor meant nothing. The humans were using technology that broke every rule of warfare he knew. Impossible, he gasped as his command center filled with smoke and fire. "No species develops this fast. You were primitives just decades ago." His last transmission reached the fleeing remnants of his fleet. "Retreat to the outer system. Send a message to the Empire. Tell them the humans are not what they appear to. B. Tell them we have awakened something terrible." Captain Kelly Brooks commanded the assault teams that boarded the crippled alien flagship. Her soldiers moved through the ship's corridors in powered armor that made them nearly invincible. They captured Admiral Kethra and dozens of other alien officers, along with complete records of Zephyrian military technology. The battle lasted only 4 hours. When it ended, the mighty invasion fleet that had been meant to conquer Earth was scattered and broken. 60 more alien ships had been destroyed, and the survivors were fleeing toward the edge of the solar system. But Dr. Amanda Taylor made a disturbing discovery while analyzing the captured alien data. The Zephyrians weren't independent raiders or explorers. They were scouts for something much larger. The invasion fleet Earth had just defeated was only the beginning. "General Harris, you need to see this," she said, her voice tight with worry. "According to these records, the Zephyrian Empire controls over 300 star systems. This fleet was just their advance guard." Harris studied the alien star charts with growing concern. If the Empire decided Earth was a real threat, they could send thousands of ships. Even humanity's secret weapons might not be enough to stop a force that large. "How long before they can mount a full invasion?" he asked. "Based on their logistics network, 6 months to a year," Taylor replied. "But sir, there's something else. These records show communications with other alien empires. Word of our capabilities is already spreading across the galaxy." The old general nodded grimly. Humanity had won its first interstellar war, but the victory had come with a price. Earth was no longer a secret. The galaxy now knew that humans possessed technology that could challenge any military force. Some alien civilizations would want to ally with Earth. Others would see humanity as a threat that needed to be eliminated. The real war was just beginning. The surviving Zephyrian ships limped toward the outer edge of the solar system, their hulls scarred and smoking from the devastating human attacks. Admiral Kethra, now a prisoner aboard the human flagship New Horizon, watched through a porthole as his once mighty fleet retreated in shame. In 3 days of fighting, the humans had reduced his invasion force from 200 ships to barely 30 operational vessels. Captain Danny Rodriguez stood in the ship's interrogation room, studying the alien commander through bulletproof glass. The reptilian creature's yellow eyes burned with hatred, but also something else that Rodriguez recognized: fear. "Your empire made a mistake," Rodriguez said calmly. "You thought we were weak because we didn't build weapons in space where you could see them. You never considered that we might be hiding our strength." Kethra hissed through his sharp teeth. "You cannot fight the entire empire. We have thousands of ships across hundreds of worlds. When they learn what happened here, they will come for you with everything they have." "Let them come," Rodriguez replied. "We'll be ready." But even as he spoke those confident words, Rodriguez knew the alien was right. Earth had won this battle through surprise and superior technology, but the Zephyrian Empire was vast. Intelligence reports suggested they could field fleets 10 times larger than the force they had just defeated. General Paul Harris stood in the Pentagon's war room surrounded by his top commanders. The walls were covered with star maps showing Zephyrian territory stretching across a significant portion of the galaxy. Red dots marked their major military bases and shipyards. "Recommendations?" Harris asked his staff. "We need to take the fight to them," Colonel Sandra Bell said firmly. "If we wait for them to organize a counterattack, they'll come back with overwhelming numbers. Our advantage lies in their confusion and fear right now." Defense Secretary William Barnes looked uncomfortable. "Are we really talking about launching attacks on alien worlds? The political implications are enormous." "The political implications of losing Earth are worse," Harris replied coldly. "Colonel Bell is right. We strike now, while they're still trying to figure out what hit them." President Helen Grant authorized Operation Hunter within the hour. For the first time in human history, Earth would launch military attacks beyond its own solar system. The mission was simple but dangerous: destroy Zephyrian military installations before they could organize a massive counteroffensive. Dr. Lisa Monroe worked frantically in her laboratory, modifying her quantum communication systems for interstellar use. The technology that had given human forces perfect coordination in local battles would now need to work across light years of space. The quantum entanglement is stable up to 50 light years, she reported to Dr. Ryan Carter. Beyond that, we'll need relay stations. 50 light years covers their 3 nearest military bases, Ryan said, studying the captured star charts. If we can hit those, it will buy us months before they can mount a serious response. The human strike force assembled in secret behind Mars. 12 of humanity's most advanced warships, each one equipped with technology that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Captain Kelly Brooks commanded the assault ship Vengeance, while Lieutenant Commander Susan Price led a squadron of fighters designed specifically for deep space combat. Remember, we're not conquerors, Rodriguez addressed his fleet commanders over the quantum link. We're sending a message. Hit their military targets hard and fast, then get out. Show them that Earth can reach anywhere in their territory. The first target was a Zephyrian shipyard orbiting a red giant star 30 light-years from Earth. The facility was massive, capable of building dozens of warships simultaneously. Intelligence suggested it was currently constructing reinforcements for the failed invasion of Earth. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the system, their quantum stealth fields making them invisible to alien sensors. What they found exceeded their worst expectations. The shipyard was enormous, easily the size of a small moon, and it was heavily defended by orbital weapons platforms and patrol fleets. Jesus, Captain Brooks whispered. How many ships are they building in there? Her tactical officer ran a quick scan. At least 60 vessels under construction, ma'am. Half of them are larger than anything we faced at Earth. The attack began with precision strikes from humanity's longest-range weapons. Quantum phase missiles traveled through folded space, bypassing the shipyard's shields and striking at critical structural points. The massive facility began to break apart before the defenders could even locate the attackers. Zephyrian fighters launched from the dying shipyard, but they found themselves facing technology they couldn't match. Susan Price's squadron moved through their formations like ghosts, her pilots using artificial intelligence that predicted enemy movements with perfect accuracy. Control, this is Lightning Leader, Susan reported. Enemy fighters neutralized, the shipyard is breaking up, primary mission accomplished. But the humans weren't finished. As the shipyard died in brilliant explosions, Rodriguez's fleet struck the system's military command center on the third planet. Gravity bombs crushed the facility's hardened bunkers, while quantum torpedoes destroyed the orbital defense network. The second target was a major Zephyrian naval base in a system 45 light-years from Earth. Here, the aliens had assembled a fleet of over 100 ships preparing for a massive assault on human space. They never got the chance to use them. Human ships materialized throughout the system simultaneously, appearing behind enemy vessels, inside their defensive formations, even within the atmosphere of their base planets. The attack was perfectly coordinated, each strike timed to maximize damage and confusion. Captain Brooks led her assault team against the base's command center, her soldiers moving through alien corridors in powered armor that made them nearly unstoppable. They captured the base's senior officers and downloaded complete intelligence files before the facility's self-destruct sequence could activate. The third target was the most ambitious, a major Zephyrian fleet assembly point where over 200 warships were gathering for a coordinated attack on Earth. The human strike force found them unprepared, their crews still trying to understand how their supposedly primitive enemy had developed such advanced weapons. The battle was one-sided. Human ships used weapons that the Zephyrians couldn't defend against or even understand. Controlled black holes crushed entire squadrons. Quantum disruptors broke down the atomic bonds holding enemy hulls together. Matter energy conversion beams simply deleted sections of alien ships from existence. Admiral Vorthak commanded the Zephyrian assembly fleet from his massive dreadnought. He watched in horror as human ships appeared and disappeared like phantoms, destroying his vessels with weapons that seemed to ignore every law of physics he knew. How is this possible? He roared at his science officers. These humans were building with metal and fire just decades ago. Now they're using technology that our best scientists say is impossible. His flagship exploded around him before anyone could answer. Captain Rodriguez's ship had materialized directly above the alien dreadnought, its main gun creating a gravity field that crushed the enormous vessel in seconds. The 3 raids took less than 6 hours to complete. When they ended, the Zephyrian Empire had lost 3 major military installations, over 400 warships, and thousands of trained personnel. More importantly, they had lost their confidence. The message was clear. Earth could strike anywhere, in Zephyrian space without warning. The hunters had become the hunted. News of the human raids spread through the Zephyrian Empire like wildfire. Panic gripped their military leadership as they realized the full scope of their mistake. They had awakened an enemy with technology beyond their understanding and the will to use it without mercy. But the raids had an unexpected consequence. Other alien civilizations took notice of humanity's capabilities. Some saw Earth as a potential ally against the Zephyrian Empire. Others viewed the humans as a new threat that needed to be eliminated before they became too powerful. The galaxy was watching Earth now, and not all of those watching eyes were friendly. The news traveled faster than any ship could fly. Across hundreds of star systems, alien governments received reports that seemed impossible to believe. The Zephyrian Empire, one of the most feared military powers in the galaxy, had been crushed by a species that most civilizations had never heard of. The humans of Earth had not only defeated a massive invasion fleet, but had launched counterattacks that destroyed major military installations deep in Zephyrian space. On the water world of Aquaticus, the Council of Depths held an emergency session. These ancient beings had ruled their sector of the galaxy for over 1,000 years, maintaining peace through careful diplomacy and superior technology. Now they faced a problem they had never encountered before. The reports cannot be accurate, Elder Nauticus declared, his tentacles writhing with agitation. No species develops this rapidly. The humans were using primitive chemical rockets just 50 years ago. Yet the evidence is undeniable, replied Elder Abyssia, studying the intercepted communications from Zephyrian survivors. Their weapons use principles that our own scientists consider theoretical impossibilities. They have somehow weaponized gravity itself. Similar conversations were happening across the galaxy. The crystalline beings of Prismata analyzed human battle footage with growing concern. The machine intelligence of the cybernetic collective calculated threat assessments that exceeded their highest danger ratings. Even the ancient ethereals, who had transcended physical form eons ago, took notice of this new species that had appeared from nowhere to challenge galactic order. On Earth, President Helen Grant stood before a joint session of Congress, but her words were being broadcast to the entire galaxy through captured alien communication networks. The world's leaders had decided it was time to announce humanity's true capabilities to everyone who was watching. For too long, Earth has been seen as a primitive backwater world, President Grant began. We allowed this deception because it served our purposes. While alien empires fought each other for territory and resources, we were building something different. We were preparing for the day when the galaxy would notice us. She gestured to a holographic display showing human ships patrolling the solar system. We did not seek this war, but we will finish it. Any civilization that threatens Earth or her allies will face the full might of human technology. We offer friendship to those who come in peace, but destruction to those who come with conquest in mind. The message reached every corner of known space within hours. Alien leaders who had never given humans a second thought suddenly found themselves forced to reconsider everything they knew about galactic politics. Earth was no longer a curiosity on the edge of civilized space. It was a major power that could project force anywhere in the galaxy. Admiral Danny Rodriguez stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the latest intelligence reports flow across his screens. Human deep space monitoring stations were detecting massive fleet movements throughout Zephyrian territory. The Empire was pulling ships from across their domain, assembling what appeared to be the largest military force in their history. Sir, we count over 3,000 vessels converging on their primary naval base. his tactical officer reported. "They're bringing everything they have." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Signal all human installations. Prepare for maximum defensive measures. If they want to make this a war of annihilation, we'll accommodate them." But before the Zephyrians could launch their massive counterattack, something unexpected happened. The Galactic Council, a loose confederation of older civilizations that had maintained peace for centuries, made an unprecedented move. They sent a diplomatic mission to Earth. The Council's ship was unlike anything humans had ever seen. It appeared to be made of pure light, shifting and flowing like liquid energy as it approached Earth's solar system. Captain Jake Morrison, still commanding his stealth ship Liberty's Shadow, was assigned to escort the alien diplomats to Earth. "This is the Council vessel Harmony requesting permission to approach your world," came the transmission in perfect English. "We come seeking dialogue with the leaders of humanity." President Grant received the alien ambassadors in a specially prepared chamber beneath the White House. The delegation consisted of representatives from 12 different species, each one more alien than the last. Their leader was a being of pure energy that called itself Ambassador Lightweaver. "Humans of Earth," Lightweaver spoke without vocal cords, its thoughts somehow translating directly into words. "Your recent actions have created significant concern throughout the galaxy. The rapid development of your military capabilities suggests technologies that some consider dangerous to galactic stability." "Are you here to threaten us?" President Grant asked calmly. "Quite the opposite. We come with an offer of membership in the Galactic Council. Your species has demonstrated both advanced technology and the wisdom to use it defensively rather than for conquest. These qualities make you valuable potential allies." The offer came with conditions. Earth would need to share some of its defensive technologies with Council members while agreeing to limit offensive operations against other civilizations. In return, humanity would gain access to galactic trade networks, scientific knowledge, and protection from hostile empires. Dr. Lisa Monroe worked with the alien scientists, carefully sharing selected aspects of human quantum research while learning about technologies that existed nowhere on Earth. The exchange was beneficial to both sides, but the aliens were clearly more interested in learning from humans than teaching them. "Your quantum manipulation techniques are centuries ahead of anything we've developed," admitted Dr. Synthesis, a crystalline being from Prismata. "How did your species advance so rapidly?" Lisa smiled knowingly. "We had good teachers and strong motivation. When you know that survival depends on innovation, you find ways to make the impossible work." Meanwhile, the Zephyrian Empire faced a crisis that threatened their very existence. Their massive fleet had been assembled, but other alien civilizations were taking advantage of their weakness. Rebellions erupted on occupied worlds. Rival empires launched attacks on Zephyrian territory. The Empire's focus on Earth had left them vulnerable to enemies they had forgotten about. General Paul Harris received daily intelligence reports showing the Zephyrian Empire's rapid collapse. Their military was stretched too thin to fight on multiple fronts. Worlds that had been loyal for centuries were declaring independence. The mighty empire that had seemed unstoppable just months ago was falling apart. "Should we press our advantage?" Captain Kelly Brooks asked during a strategy meeting. "We could finish them off while they're weak." "No," Harris replied after long consideration. "We've made our point. Let them collapse on their own. Our goal was never conquest, just survival." The final chapter of the crisis came when the Zephyrian government itself contacted Earth, requesting peace negotiations. The once proud empire had been reduced to a fraction of its former size, and their leaders finally understood that humanity was beyond their ability to defeat. Ambassador Chen Wei, Earth's first interstellar diplomat, met with Zephyrian representatives on a neutral space station. The peace treaty she negotiated established clear boundaries between human and Zephyrian space, with the aliens agreeing to pay reparations for their unprovoked attack on Earth. "Your species fought well," the Zephyrian negotiator admitted. "We underestimated you completely. That will not happen again." "We hope it won't be necessary," Chen replied. "Earth prefers peace, but we will always be ready to defend ourselves." As news of the peace treaty spread, The galaxy settled into a new order. Humanity had earned its place among the major civilizations through strength and wisdom. Trade relationships developed with dozens of species. Human technology, carefully shared, helped advance scientific understanding throughout the galaxy. But Earth never forgot the lesson of the Zephyrian invasion. Hidden defense installations continued to watch the stars. Secret research programs pushed the boundaries of physics even further. The galaxy had learned that humans were not to be underestimated, but humanity had learned something even more valuable. In a universe full of potential enemies, the best defense was to appear weak while remaining strong. Earth would continue to surprise those who threatened it, because humanity had mastered the greatest weapon of all, the element of surprise combined with unshakable determination to survive.